Greetings, everyone. I'm reaching out to the mathematical community, but not only to the mathematical community, but anyone who might be interested in numbers in general. And it's not limited to mathematics. It's actually a convergence of a few different subjects, a few different fields. Mathematics would be the main one, but it also goes into the area of parapsychology and metaphysics. It's where metaphysics meets parapsychology meets mathematics, meets, I don't know how else to call it other than maybe chaos theory or the science or the math of guessing, and where our guesses come from. And I've been involved in this work for several years. It's going to be 7 years this December. I started Thursday, December 26th of 2019 with the very first number, which was 51, or it's written 051 in the yellow box at the top left-hand corner. And it's a 5 by, as you can see, it's a 5 by 5 grid. These 5 by 5 obviously have 25 three-digit numbers, and it represents 35 days. So you could say a month and 5 days, or it's 25 numbers, obviously, but 35 days is a time span, and those extra 10 days come from the weekends. These 5 days represent 5 days of the week. The way they're structured is that it starts, the yellow is Thursday, the purple is Friday, the green is Monday, the fuchsia is Tuesday, and the blue is Wednesday, but it can be ordered differently. There's some boxes where it's Monday through Friday. The point is that they're 5 days, and the weekends are missing, but it could be that any other 2 days are missing, but it's just Monday through Friday in any order. This happens to start on Thursday. But theoretically, or ostensibly, it could be any 5 days of the week. So these numbers were received through guesses. It was a process of me asking somebody, "What's the number for today?" The person, I'm guessing, no pun intended, I'm guessing would have just a blank slate, an open mind, and just say, "Here's the number." But what's interesting is that these numbers are so specific, and each day, and this went on for a period of almost 2 years. It went on for 23 months. And there are 20 of these, what I call 752 squares, or 752 squares. And there are, so 35 days are represented in these squares. So 35 times 20 is 700, right? Let's do that. 35 times 20 equals 700, yes. So 700 days is just about 23 months. It's just about exactly 3 months. It might be off a day or two because of the way the calendar is, but actually it is literally 700 days what this project is, but in terms of 23 months, it's just about 23 months. So I did this process where I would ask this person every day for almost 2 years, except the last box. So I did it for 19 boxes, but the last box, the 20th box, it was based on a very simple sequence of numbers that I didn't ask for guesses. So the 20th is an exception, but these were all guesses, and I ran some analytics through AI, and AI was able to give some of just the regular basic mathematical information, like the highest number, the lowest number, the sum of all of them, the median, some other statistical mathematical data. But they were unable to identify the meaning of these numbers, and to AI it is simply random. And they weren't able to identify any pattern in these numbers. And so what I find very strange, and I mentioned it's not just mathematical, it delves into parapsychology and metaphysics, in that I felt this, maybe the word is compulsion, or some kind of a driving force, or a just something that keeps you moving in this for that period. That period corresponds to a very significant period of time. It corresponds to the turn of the century. From the turn of the decade, 19 to 20, and we know what happened in 2020. The world changed in dramatic ways ever since 2020, when Corona came out in the spring of 2020, March of 2020. It was tremendous changes have been happening to the world, and these 20 squares correspond to the period of time, the 23 months that was December of 2019, the end of December 2019, which is right really before Corona or COVID came on the scene, and it really spanned the main brunt of what COVID was, basically from 2020 up until the end of 21. So Thursday, December 26, 2019, up until Wednesday, November 24th of 2021. That's really the main Corona, the main COVID, really. And every month, faithfully, I would transcribe these numbers. I would ask, what's the number for today? A person would give me the number. I would transcribe it, and here they are. This is the first one. So this very top, the top left-hand corner, that's A1. Next one's B1, etc., like a regular grid. And so these boxes represent 35 days of time. So this box represents Thursday, December 26, 2019, up until and including Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. So it also corresponds to the Hebrew calendar. So right here, top 051 is the very first one. This is Thursday. In fact, I remember where I was when this was told to me, how that day went. I remember where I went that day, and it was actually the fourth day of Hanukkah. So the first, what's called the 752 square, starts on Thursday, December 26, 2019, which was Yom Hamishi, the fifth day of the week. On the Hebrew calendar, 28 Kislev, 5780, fourth day of Hanukkah, Parshat Miketz. The Daf Yomi was Nida, 64, and it went all the way until, this box went until here, the bottom here, it's number 398, is Wednesday, January 29th of 2020. And that would be Yom Revi'i, the third day of Shvat, 5780, Parshat Bo, and the portion was Bo, and the Daf Yomi was Brachot 26. They started the new cycle. It also corresponds to when the Daf Yomi cycle started, which is a big part of what I do in Yoshua's Daf Yomi Shir. And so I'm presenting this to the mathematical community, but not limited. For anyone who's interested in either mathematics, metaphysics, number theory, pure mathematics, parapsychology, or if there's anything I didn't mention that would catch someone's interest. Again, I'll mention that I ran mathematical analytics on an AI, and AI was not able to say anything more than these are random numbers. But I'm exploring the nature of randomness and I guess the science and the math of guessing, which would seem to be in the realm of parapsychology. This is the first 752 square.